Hello there, wonderful souls. Welcome to yet another transit video on VGS Astro. Today we'll be looking at Mars transit in Aries sign for the year 2024 and how it's going to affect each ascendant. So what is Mars? Mars is one's energy. Mars is living in the present, being alert, being confident, and having a sense of enthusiasm for knowing the unknown, whether that's good or bad, and also to getting to face it, to either conquer or defeat. Mars is a goal-oriented planet and also a tactical manager. Definitely has his own strategy in driving a person towards success. So now Mars transits into the sign of Aries, which he owns right now, and therefore he is in an extremely comfortable position because it allows Mars to express himself in terms of self-confidence, providing him with the know-how of navigating through difficult situations, and at the same time hold his ground. He cannot be pushed out of his comfort zone here. He would want to do things his way. And the reason I say this is because although Saturn is aspecting Mars, Saturn's influence on Mars cannot move Mars in the opposite direction. He might slow down, but he cannot be persuaded to see things any differently. He's going to hold on to his views and continue to influence the areas based on aspects and position that he's placed in based on the ascendant. So without further ado, let's look at the effects of Mars transit in Aries for different ascendants. So let's begin with Aries ascendants or Aries moon sign. So for Aries folks, Mars is in the first house and it's giving you a boost in your self-confidence, in your energy levels, in your leadership abilities. Remember, you no longer want to be a manager, you want to be a leader. You want to be someone who inspires people to follow you. But Saturn in the 11th house is sending his energies to Mars to calm down and relax and take things slowly, as he might miss the wood for the trees. Saturn is trying to tell Mars that he needs to put in a lot more effort to build a stronger network circle. Okay, so he feels like having a mass appeal or charisma is not enough. He needs to instill trust and faith in people before he can take on the role of a leader. And that's going to take time. But nevertheless, Mars is giving you a sense of faith in the goals in your life. You're going to be a force to reckon with, even if you're taking on challenges in areas that you don't really understand. And Mars is precisely about understanding the unknown due to his eighth aspect. He wants to pry open the doors of secrecy and move forward in the unknown territory and explore and see what's hidden beneath it. Saturn supports the ideology of exploration by Mars, and he's only telling Mars to take things a bit more seriously. So people who are working in the police forces, in the military, or any other armed forces may have a very exciting and adventurous time during this transit. For most others, Mars's aspect on the 8th house is about unlocking their hidden potential in understanding people's psyche. You want to understand what makes people tick. That's especially true if you're residing in a foreign country or simply in a place away from home. So that little information can be utilized to move forward in that new place. Mars opens up the doors to connecting with new people who are adept in knowing the unknown. So it could be anyone from spies to fortune tellers to someone who has the knack to gain insight into areas that are not clearly visible to most people. So you will be joining hands with people who are experts in these domains, either in furtherance of your goals, whatever that might be, or in giving you additional income. Mars aspect on the 4th house is also going to give you a desire to do something creative with your property. That means you could buy a house, build one, or renovate your existing property, or even contemplate on buying a new vehicle or upgrading your existing one. Mars entering the sign of Aries is also going to breathe new energy into your spouse's career, because 4th is 10th from the 7th. And Rahu's 5th house aspect on the 4th house means creative energy flowing in the area of career for your spouse. Also, this push will come from you. Remember that if you push too hard, you could cause brutal damage to your relationship because of Mars's 7th aspect on the 7th house of marriage. This is true with regards to their career, with regards to bed pleasure that you might enjoy right now, and they may not be uh, able to devote enough time for you. And if you push things too hard, it's going to be detrimental to the confidence of your spouse. So remember, you have to be the one who instills confidence and faith into your spouse instead of being critical and being pushy. If you continue to be critical, it's going to just disturb the fabric of your relationship. Make sure you give the right amount of push to help keep themselves occupied, although they may not see much success during this time. It's going to help them keep moving forward despite the hardships they're facing. So that's work for you, but also a relief, because once they gain momentum, there's less work for you. But remember, Saturn's telling you not to take shortcuts and move in a direction that would help you sustain in the long term, but you will still break those rules because you want to reach your destination much faster, and the wait is making you impatient. Mars being the Lagna Lord and the 8th Lord in the first house, in the Ascendant, brings fresh perspectives to the way you see yourself and also the way you react to quick events. Okay, not necessarily sudden events. These are possible events that you're already aware of and nothing surprising, but it will come to you so quickly that you will have less time to react, causing some distress and some amount of discomfort to you in the process, as you're likely to be a bit confused on the path that you must take when these challenges come to you all at once. So the remedy here is to take things slowly, to move slow and put calculated efforts in addressing those issues for a smooth transit. Okay, so that's my analysis for Aries ascendants. Remember, forewarned is forearmed. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you're new to my channel, please subscribe below, and let's move forward. Next up we have Taurus ascendants or Taurus moon sign. So for Taurus folks, Mars is transiting your 12th house, and Mars could potentially give you a racing mind during this transit. Some of you may see violent dreams, some of you may be battling your own demons and confronting your fears, because 12th is also your subconscious mind. But Mars, being in the Aries sign, will give you the inner motivation, or let's say the inner courage to face your demons, to face your fears. But sometimes this can also be overwhelming because of Saturn's aspect on Mars. So you could end up spending a lot of time in working on your inner fears. You're going to spend a lot of energy in probably decoding them and trying to find a solution to free yourself from mental anxiety. Mars, being your 12th lord, would make you spend aggressively in the pursuit of knowledge of spirituality. But thanks to Saturn's aspect, your expenses are also seeing a slowdown. He's going to make you more frugal. But you would eventually realize that spending is a necessary aspect in order to see some progress in spirituality. So you're going to end up spending money nonetheless. You could end up enrolling in a course on spirituality or the connected sciences. That could include astrology. And the possibility is that you could enroll in this course along with your spouse. And this is a time where you need to be careful about the connections that you forge. You may want to associate yourself with certain people of high intellect, especially those who have knowledge of spirituality, probably in the hopes of gaining something beyond reach. But remember, mere association does not entitle you to achieving what you desire, leaving you disillusioned. So the remedy right now is to free yourself from expectations, as spirituality in itself is really about freeing yourself from the illusory nature of life. And when you do that, Saturn being Yogakaraka for you is going to benefit you. He's going to give you prosperity in spirituality. Mars's fourth aspect on the third house could bring newfound energy to your siblings, and it's going to be transformative in the way they express themselves, sometimes leading them to behave in an eccentric manner. So if you push them too much to be assertive, it can have negative connotations at this time. So exercise caution while communicating with your siblings, especially about your inner fears. Mars's eighth aspect on your seventh house, if this is a positive transit, could actually bring about wedding bells into your life at a time when you least expected it. So there's expenses on the cards, especially marriage expenses, and that could put a lot of pressure on the both of you. But if you're already married or not looking for marriage, then get ready for spending on business deals. Now, whether this is going to be positive or negative will depend on multiple factors, including your moon sign and the dasha and antardasha that you're running. But let's say that this transit is negative for you. Then you will have to watch out for your spouse's health. Why? Because Jupiter is Lord of the 8th, aspecting the 7th, and Mars's 8th aspect is also on the 7th now. And that means this is a triggering point for accidents and sudden injuries to your spouse, or even some disease that's hidden in nature is making its way to the surface. Especially diseases of the liver, spleen, blood-related disorders. It could even include infections of the urinary tract or sexual organs, kidneys even. So you need to be extremely cautious and advise them to take necessary precautions. Nonetheless, married or otherwise, you should be the financial advisor to your spouse in cutting back on those expenses, which will eventually gain his respect and support for you in the long term. So, my dear Tauruses, if you enjoyed this video, please give a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe if you're new here, and also share this video with your friends and family. Next up, we have Gemini Ascendants or Gemini Moon sign. For Gemini folks, Mars is transiting your 11th house of gain. So you're poised to gain a lot of energy, self-confidence, motivation, courage to dream big and achieve the goals that you intend to achieve in your creative pursuits, and also in your self-expression because of its aspect on the 5th house. Additionally, Mars will give you the self-confidence to build your network circle during this time. However, Saturn being the 9th lord in the 9th house, aspecting Mars at this time is telling you to go slow and be calculative while choosing your friends and foes. And if you're not careful, then Mars being the 6th lord, entering the 11th house, is prone to give you disputes and enemies within your social circle. Mars can also give you gains to your family members at this time. Maybe there's an addition to your family. It could be childbirth or someone who comes to live with you. Mars coming to Aries is also a triggering point for you in terms of financial gains, especially through savings, and you will end up saving a lot of money during this time, or end up investing money for the future. And some of you may even choose to invest in novel investment products that involve a lot of risk, like cryptocurrencies. Why? Because of Rahu. Rahu is the illusionist. He is now giving you the lure of money, and Mars is an aggressive planet and wants to immediately capitalize on these possible gains. So there's a possibility that you may want to make quick decisions that involve a lot of high risk for a higher reward because of Mars' 7th aspect on the 5th, and Mars being prone to disputes and obstacles being the 6th lord could obstruct the flow of income and potential profit on those investments. So tread very carefully. Thankfully, Saturn being the 9th lord in the 9th house is telling you to avoid these pitfalls and go for the tried and tested methods of investment. So Saturn will give you a good fortune if you invest for long term in products that are already well established, because Saturn represents ancient things. So when it comes to investments, don't be hasty. Do not enter into trading, as this could make you incur heavy losses and can also give you disputes in your investments. Conception is a possibility for Geminis during this time, so that's a positive. Mars's 8th aspect on your 6th house may give some Geminis a stressful work life and daily routine. So please be advised to take necessary precaution with regards to health and wellness. So what's the remedy? Go slow. Okay, that's the remedy. Take things slowly at your workplace. Otherwise, there is every possibility that you might inherit some blood-related diseases at this time. Inherit because it runs in the family, and stress can be a factor that triggers this disease. And that could be anything from diabetes to heart disease, or even something as simple as blood pressure, right? If you take your health seriously and make sustained efforts, you have every possibility to continue that streak of staying fit even after the transit is over. But importantly, if you're facing a legal battle or having to face a tough situation, make calculated efforts and try and postpone the outcome to emerge victorious another day. Alright, that's my analysis for Gemini Ascendants, and if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, and if you're new to my channel, don't forget to subscribe below, and do share this video with your friends and family. Next up we have Moon Children. And for Moon Children, it's Mars transiting into your 10th house. Mars gains directional strength in this house, and Mars is your Yoga Karaka. So what can you expect here? Mars in the 10th will give you a fighting spirit to make tailwinds at your workplace. In the beginning, your energy levels may be at its peak, but some difficult event or circumstance at your workplace may throw cold water on your speed and enthusiasm. Maybe it's a missed opportunity or promotion that you've been looking for and hasn't happened, and that adds to your resentment. This trigger may make some Moon Children extremely unhappy, and for some people you may get suggestions from your social circle to adopt illegal practices or shortcuts or crooked ways to gain that recognition at your workplace, which will bring undue pressure and also dissatisfaction. Some of you may call it quits at this time, and that's because of Saturn's aspect on Mars from the 8th house. So a change in job or moving to a different office or location, including residence, is quite the possibility due to Mars's 7th aspect on the 4th house. And if you do that, it's most likely going to be favorable for you, and it's going to make you more creative and more enthusiastic, with many more milestones to gain in the future. So even if you do not quit, accepting to tread on is okay. If you're going to change roles or move to a different stream or area of work, all of this will still be beneficial for you. Okay, Mars's 8th aspect on your 5th house may bring disturbances in the life of your child. So by all means, do take good care of your children at this time. This is a time that's filled with responsibility and deep transformations for your child, and the energies are telling you to take your child's safety and life very, very seriously, and you have to give it first priority over everything else. So there's a lot that you will now learn about parenting, about fulfilling the needs of your child, and this transit is only going to make you more focused and more responsible towards your children, and that's going to continue even after this transit is over. So count your blessing and keep moving forward. Remedy is to pray to Lord Hanuman at this time and expect life-changing events during this transit. My dear Moon Children, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and also subscribe to my channel if you're new, and please share this video with your friends and family. Next up we have Leo Ascendants or Leo Moon sign. For Leo Ascendants or Leo Moon sign, Mars transits into your 9th house, and Mars is a Yoga Karaka planet for you. So you can expect some positive changes coming into your father's life. He might even end up taking fitness very seriously. Being the fourth lord in the ninth house, Mars brings about comforts and luxuries to your father. And since Sun will also be transiting in Taurus during this time, this gives rise to a Mridanga Yoga with Mars in Aries and Saturn in the sign of Aquarius. So basically, you're supposed to have a very good time during this transit along with your father. However, this is also a time where you're going to spend a lot of money on comforts and in the pursuit of knowledge, higher education. It could even be knowledge of the spiritual sciences, including astrology. All of this might happen so quickly that some of you may find it surprising. This is a time where you may also spend money in getting your birth chart read by an astrologer, maybe concerning your mother. So make sure it's me, guys. Okay, but let me tell you, there's every reason for you to be happy at this time and not worry about what's in store. Don't let your good times become a source of guilt and fear, which is quite possible because of Saturn's influence. But you need to hold your ground and try and enjoy your time for the next 1 year, because after that, it's Saturn heading to your 8th house, and usually 8th house Saturn is more fraught over than the Sade Sati, but there's always remedies to take care of that, so no need to worry. But the earlier you start with the remedies, the better it is for you during this transit. Mars is the ninth lord of Bhagya, and he is in the ninth house, which means fortune coming your way. But wait, there's Saturn, which is now obstructing the flow of energy in the ninth, being the sixth and seventh lord. So basically, any long distance travel will find a hurdle during this time. Any luck coming your way will come in bits and pieces. Usually, Mars in the ninth does not like being told about what life is all about. Mars here is all about exploring the world and forming his own conclusion about life itself. And you might now be in a hurry to conclude or believe that you have a fully formed philosophy or worldview. But truth is actually much farther. Saturn in the seventh, which is other people, is now telling you to look at both sides of the story. So Saturn wants you to give your worldview a second look and change your stance. But the thing that you really need to focus on during this transit is your mother's health. So I can't really get into specific unless I see the chart. So all I can say is that you need to strengthen your moon, which will in turn strengthen your mother. If you have a strong moon, rest assured this transit will not affect her all that much. But if it's a weak moon, due to debilitation or due to conjunction aspects or being hemmed between malefics, then you need to be more vigilant to her needs, and this will need to continue for the next 1 or 2 years. And that's all I have got for Leos. If you resonate with my prediction, please give it a thumbs up, share this with your friends and family, and also don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you're new here. Okay, next up we have Virgo Ascendants or Virgo Moon sign. For Virgo folks, Mars goes into the 8th house. 8th house is the house of sudden changes, but fortunately, Mars owns this house and therefore will be neutral to a great degree for Virgo. In fact, it's only making you stronger, prosperous, and fearless. You feel at home. You feel like this is where you belong. Although there may be a lot of challenges ahead of you, you feel that you're now in a position that is a comfortable position to tackle those issues. And thankfully, Saturn from the 6th house is now aspecting your 8th house and making it more difficult for sudden events to take place. So things are going to move in a slow and relaxed pace for Virgo folks, especially due to this transit. Additionally, Mars now gives you a lot of vitality and sexual prowess during this transit. Many Virgo folks now have the opportunity to expand their social circle, to expand their businesses because of Rahu aspecting the 11th from the 7th house and Mars supporting the activity itself through property acquisitions or infusing fresh capital or even help from behind the scenes to gain that extra income. Being the Lord of the third house and aspecting the 11th and second house would mean that you will have to put in extra efforts to gain extra income to save that money. So extra efforts needed to save money for Virgos. Mars in the 8th is always a problem for the spouse. Classical Mangal Dosh. But thankfully for Saturn's aspect and Mars owning the 8th, there's going to be a slowdown in the malefic effects of the 8th house. That is, sudden changes or events that cause grief and difficult situations for you or your in-laws. However, Mars aspecting the second will mean that you will have a proactive approach to finance. You may also end up demanding extra money from your family, but as I already mentioned, saving money now will need a lot of effort, and Mars will give you the strength and courage to speak your mind, probably in the most direct manner without tact, because Mars aspects the third house of communication, and itself being the third lord will speak without mincing words to extract that money or not let go of the savings which your family may now intend to spend, and you're going to convince them to save it for a rainy day. And the tendency to speak directly without tact might hurt your family, so watch out for that. As regards third house of younger siblings, there may be a situation where you say things to them in a harsh tone which may disturb them. It's mostly because Mars makes you prone to sudden outbursts. You may be quick to anger. So you need to pay attention to that and try and control your temper. Because things once stated can never be taken back. For Virgo moon signs, however, this problem is compounded due to Ketu in the Lagna. It's quite possible that Ketu gives you a detached mindset, but also Ketu is headless, so the tendency to say nonsensical things or just speak without filters is amplified at this time. So you need to be extra careful. That's all I've got for Virgo folks, so if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, and if you're new here, do subscribe to my channel and please share this with your friends and family. Next up we have Libra Ascendants or Libra Moon sign. For Libra folks, Mars moves into your 7th house of spouse and he is your 2nd lord and 7th lord. Alrighty, what can we expect from this transit? Mars will now give you the boldness and courage that you need. He's going to make you very enterprising and courageous. And you can feel this effect, especially if you have a debilitated Mars in your birth chart, that is in the 10th house. Not that you won't feel it otherwise if Mars was elsewhere, but people with weak Mars will now see the positive energy flowing through them in terms of confidence and charisma. You will feel that people are drawn to you. They are not only watching you, but they are looking up to you at your workplace, at business meetings, in public places. Your presence, wherever you go, will be felt. Mars being the 2nd lord in the 7th house brings about savings to your spouse, and Saturn being a yoga karaka for you is going to give you some initial hurdles while saving that money. But it will definitely benefit you or your spouse in the long term, provided the investment is in an established investment product. So what do I mean by this? I mean established as in safe and secure deposits like fixed deposits or recurring deposits. If you plan to invest in equities, then look at AAA graded companies. Okay, Mars would also give you an aggressive and a quick to anger spouse at this time. But Saturn will dampen that anger to a great degree. And Mars's 4th aspect on the 10th house will lead you to invest significant time in understanding the nature of your work and to conquer areas of your profession that you may not have previously considered. It's also quite possible that you're transitioning to a new area of work which requires thorough study and a quick update on the necessary skills and knowledge to manage that work. And if it's a different area of work, Mars will provide you the impetus and energy to take on that new role, no matter what that is, without complaining, because that's what the others want of you right now. Mars being the seventh lord aspecting the fourth house would mean that you're probably now entering a new home along with your spouse, or there's investment in a new home. It's also quite possible that you're gaining money through your property. Maybe you're renting your existing property and gaining money from that property. Mars' seventh aspect on the Lagna itself will bring about newfound energy, enthusiasm, and willpower to do the necessary things to see progress in life. And that's because Saturn is also giving you a benefic push in that area through Mars. Saturn is now in the fifth house of prosperity, and he is now pushing Mars to give you that prosperity. Mars' eighth aspect on the second house isn't always considered good for the family or your savings, but he's also the second lord, and Saturn now puts a dampener on the negative effects of Mars. This is a time when Saturn himself is poised to give you financial prosperity. And this is the area which you will be concerned about the most during Mars transit. And this will be the triggering point for further elevation. Mars is prone to giving you a direct speech at this time, but thankfully these words are words of wisdom due to Jupiter, and it's only adding value to the person who takes your advice, especially financial advice or advice in family matters. So that's all I've got for Librans. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, share this with your family and friends, and also subscribe for more such updates. Okay, next up we have Scorpio Ascendants or Scorpio Moon sign. For Scorpios, Mars now enters your sixth house, and he is your ascendant lord as well as your sixth lord. Saturn, being the third and fourth lord, is now aspecting Mars in the sixth. So what is the prediction for Scorpios? Mars here gains a lot of strength in this position. You become highly competitive at your workplace because sixth house is service, right? Mars is also now in a very comfortable position to vanquish enemies and disease. And yeah, he is strong enough to bring an end to long-term debts as well. So what an excellent time for Scorpios. If you play your cards right, there's every chance of emerging victorious in sixth house related matters. For example, if you're trying to get fit, starting an exercise routine or a diet program to reverse the damage could see a positive result. Same case with debts as well as tackling any kind of challenge. But Saturn, now being the lord of the third and fourth, that is efforts and comfort, is telling you that you will be able to enjoy a good immunity only if you put in the necessary efforts. You will get the comforts only if you put in long and sustained efforts. It's like they say, no pain, no gain. So you will have to face a bit of discomfort in order to enjoy long-term health, wellness, and prosperity. Mars's aspect on the ninth house is going to bring some difficult situations for the father, because Mars, being the sixth lord, is bringing the exact opposite effect to your father compared to yourself, which means there's every possibility that your father could end up getting stressed out because of his routine, because of debts, or maybe some disease that's ailing him right now. And Rahu may be planning to take him on a distant journey away, and that could also be a cause of stress to your father. However, because of Saturn, you will see these effects minimized to a great degree. Mars's 12th aspect could give you aggressive spending habits despite being the sixth lord, because Saturn is now aspecting Mars, so in a way the effects of the sixth lord gets minimized, which means less obstacles to the 12th. But the good thing about this is Mars, being the ascendant lord, could bring foreign journeys into your life. Saturn also being the fourth causes some disruption in your present stay, so every chance of you moving away. So you can expect yourself drawn to adventure and desiring to travel abroad. But overall, the transit will make you focused more on your own self, that is your diet, your routine, your appearance, the way you dress, the exercise routine. So Mars transit is going to be so full of yourself, but thankfully there's potential for good karma because there's a possibility that you might become charitable during this transit. So plenty of opportunity to learn about yourself, and one YouTube channel that I would recommend anyone to boost their confidence or face difficult situations is a YouTube channel called Charisma on Command. Okay, so that's all I've got for Scorpios. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Please subscribe if you're new here, and also share this with your friends and family. Next up, we have Sagittarius Ascendants or Sagittarius Moon sign. For Sagittarians, Mars is the lord of the 12th and 5th and goes to the 5th house. So what's in store for Sagittarians? Let's explore. Mars is an aggressive planet. He's competitive and also extremely adventurous, and when he's in the 5th house, being the owner of that house should necessarily give you positive results with regards to adventure, children, speculation, or any creative activity or sports activity. But being the 12th lord, there is a possibility of losing money or losing the game as well. And Saturn, being the second and third lord, is fueling your pursuit, unlike for other ascendants. He is now in a position where he is required to cooperate in financially supporting you to roll the dice or anything that's related to the 5th house. Maybe you want to pursue martial arts or learn to swim, and that will be supported by Saturn. But make no mistake, Saturn is not really supporting your enterprising spirit. He's only financially supporting you. He's allowing you to do what you want to do, with a caution that if you do it without thorough study and not put in the necessary efforts, then there's every possibility of losing more than what you imagined you would. It could be money, it could be your self-confidence, it could be your ability to fight back. Alrighty, siblings offer support in your romantic escapades during this time. Maybe it's a time to spend money on vacation. It could be an adventurous trip or a luxury hotel stay because of Rahu in the 4th and Mars aspecting the 12th house, and that means erosion of your savings and more expenses coming your way. Saturn will try to throw cold water on your adventures, but he's now in a position to support you financially, as I already mentioned for these events. Good or bad is only subjective. So remember, spending on good things is also a bhagya. That's how I view it, because spending is also a result of a good karma. What good is money if you're only going to keep it to yourself and guard it like some kind of a bank manager? Owner of the money gets to spend it, right? So nothing to worry about really. Mars aspecting the 8th house and 11th house could bring you inheritance money, unexpected returns by means of investment, but only after a lot of struggle. You may lose some, but you will also gain. Maybe not in leaps and bounds, but there's assured returns at this time if you play your cards right. So don't be in a hurry. Take time to think over your decisions and rethink before you implement them. Mars in the 5th would also mean that your children are going to see faster progress in life. They're going to learn things very quickly. They're going to be moving faster to the next level. So the general analysis would be happiness coming your way with a lot of fun activities for you. But the mantra for Sagittarius, listen carefully, the mantra for Sagittarius at this time will have to be about cutting down on losses, not necessarily expenses. Okay, it's okay to spend money on something, but it's definitely not okay to lose your hard-earned money, however little that might be. So make sure there's value for the money that you invest in, and you don't quit what you started and end up paying for the services that you enrolled for. Great chance for you to learn new things financially as well as artistically. Yeah, so dear Sagittarians, please subscribe to my channel if you're new here, and if you like this video, please give a thumbs up and share this with your friends and family. Next up we have Capricorn Ascendant or Capricorn Moon sign. So for Capricorn folks, Mars being the 11th and 4th lord moves to your 4th house. What is Mars? Mars in the battlefield is a conqueror. He fights to conquer, and that's his coronation. And with Mars in the 4th in the sign of Aries, you can expect yourself to work towards a comfortable life. That becomes your motto. So generally, comforts range from luxury products to owning landed properties and vehicles, and Mars being the 11th lord does indicate gain in these areas. So if you're planning to splurge money for a comfortable living, then this is that time of the year to have that wish fulfilled. Saturn being the second lord brings about financial support to aid you in fulfilling your wishes, and as the ascendant lord, Saturn brings about novel ideas to enhance your comfort, although slowly. So he doesn't want you to rush with these things. Same time around, Mars aspecting the 7th house of spouse could make you domineering in your marital relationship. You want to control your spouse. You feel like your spouse should listen to whatever you have to say. You may even think of crooked ways to controlling them. Some of you may even emotionally blackmail them to get them to comply with your views. And this attitude is sure enough to bring undue pressure onto your spouse. Mars with its aspect on the 10th house could bring new business ideas. Saturn will support Mars with fresh ideas and with finance as well, because Saturn wants to ensure that you ultimately end up carrying home a fat paycheck, and Saturn is poised to make you work towards that. Mars at this time will also make you aggressively build your network circle. The focus for this year for most Capricorn folks will solely rest on building a large and strong network circle, a steady cash flow to their businesses, and ultimately more and more income. And with Mars transiting the 4th house, this will be one of the best months that you will experience this year with regards to your profession. Of course, the streak will continue, but this month of transit is when things are going to be very exciting for Capricorn folks. Some of you may shift residence, some of you may change your job, but ultimately it's all going to be fruitful because some of the planets are now aligned to give you that success. So overall, the transit looks perfect, but underneath it all, you will be depressed. You will still be stressed out, probably because of past life disappointments and losses. Despite having it all, you would feel that a part of you is missing to enjoy all of this. This is particularly true for Capricorn moon sign. Okay, so that's all I've got for Capricorns. If you like this video, please hit the like button and subscribe to my channel if you are new here, and also share this with your friends and family. Next up we have Aquarius Ascendant or Aquarius moon sign. For Aquarius folks, Mars being your 10th lord and 3rd lord goes into your 3rd house. Mars is a self-driven, self-motivated planet, and most importantly, a goal-oriented planet. Once Mars sets his eye on something, he would not sleep till he gets it. That means you are becoming goal-oriented in life. The 3rd house is the place of self-efforts. The amount of effort that you put in towards achieving any goal will be based on the planet that occupies the 3rd. And a planet like Mars in the 3rd will give you a brave disposition, and also someone who initiates things aggressively and is running towards that goal, is rushing towards that goal. Mars owns this place for Aquarius Ascendants. Mars gives you the ability to put in long and sustained efforts with regards to any task that you might undertake at this time, or anything at all. It need not be with regards to communication alone, and that's what most people imagine Mars to do at this place, right? Of course, there's no doubt that Mars is going to help you put in the necessary effort in the field of communication, especially written communication, because the third deals with the arm or doing something with the arm. So yes, Mars here could bring a very shrewd and powerful writing skill to the foreground. Definitely an excellent time for journalists, editors, copywriters, authors, publishers, including script writers, because Mars is also aspecting the ninth house. But like I said, Mars in this place could help you with any area you wish to work on. It could be that you are going to contest for the Olympics, and Mars will give you the ability to persevere regardless of the difficulty. If you're someone who's preparing for a competitive exam or something that's difficult to crack, maybe even research work, like trying to find a solution for a difficult problem like cancer, then this is like the best time to do that. Acting as the 12th lord, Saturn will bring expenses for you. Acting as the ascendant lord, Saturn will infuse Mars with fresh ideas, fine-tune Mars's communication with maturity, bring about a methodical way of working. Maybe even bring your past experience working elsewhere to your new place of work, because Mars is also your 10th lord in the third, aspected by Saturn, and Mars himself is aspecting your 10th house. So generally this position is going to give you a lot of work with regards to 1. Communication, 2. Siblings, and 3. Your job, your profession. Remember, Saturn is also bringing his share of responsibility for you at your workplace through his 10th aspect. So you should expect to follow a very disciplined and methodical way of working now, lest you face the backlash of your bosses. So ensure that you do your part 100%. Don't let any stone unturned, because the moment you leave something out on faith, or because you feel that it's not worth giving your undivided attention and it looks okay on the surface, that's when the problem starts. There's every possibility that you're going to miss something important where you felt there's less attention required. And for Aquarius moon sign, who is now going through the peak of Sade Sati, you need to find a way to balance your work and leisure. You may have felt stressed out in the past due to all that work pressure, but Mars is now giving you fresh impetus to give your best. Mars's aspect on the 6th house and Rahu's 5th aspect on the 6th will bring about creative ways in dealing with diseases, creative ways to study diseases. So if you're a doctor, you're going to gain some fresh perspectives into diseases and how to deal with them. Mars and Rahu are also going to give you creative ways to deal with your enemies. And this is definitely going to scare stiff your enemies, because Rahu is the demon and he is unpredictable in his ways. And please give this video a thumbs up if it resonated with you, and also share this with your friends and family. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you are new here. Moving forward, we have Pisces Ascendants or Pisces moon sign. For Pisces folks, Mars being the 9th lord and 2nd lord moves to your 2nd house. And before we look at the effect of Mars, let's look at the ascendant, yourself. And that self is now hemmed between 2 malefics, and ascendant itself is occupied by Rahu. So this represents a very challenging situation for Pisces folks, especially the moon sign. Ketu is in the opposite house, that is the 7th house of spouse and other people. Ascendant hemmed between malefics. Ascendant occupied by a malefic. There's mental stress, strain, a time where you feel detached from the rest of the crowd. You feel like you're cut off from your social fabric, and many other things. And it's also the beginning phase of Sade Sati. So a lot of challenging things being thrown at Pisces folks. But Now let's focus on Mars's entry into Aries. With Mars's entry into Aries, you will feel like you need to save money now, save money for the future. And you're trying to cut back on expenses, trying to find a way to save more and more for a rainy day. But things wouldn't move as quickly as you would desire. You're only seeing an increase in expenses because of Saturn's third aspect on Mars, who is also the owner of the 11th house. So here you would have to work really hard to indeed save that money. So tough luck, guys. All I can say is hang in there. Good times will come to you with the right remedies. But if you're going through a good dasha and bhukti, then possibilities are that these effects will get greatly minimized automatically. Mars would also put you in a position where you desire to be the decision maker in your family setup, and you feel frustrated that the energies between you and the members of your family are not in sync, they're not in harmony. Okay, so you appear domineering to folks at home. But thankfully, the propensity to be violent is somewhat dampened by Saturn's third aspect. Mars, being the ninth lord in the second, will bring gradual luck and improvement in your family life. It's going to be slow, so don't expect quick results here. Some Pisces folks may also have to face eye-related problems at this time, problems to your eyesight. And that's very much expected because Mars is in the second, Saturn in the 12th, Lagna occupied by Rahu. So every possibility of a physical problem for your vision, but also your goal-oriented vision. Mars can now give you tunnel vision with regards to family goals. You're not in a position to look at how the decision you take will affect other people in your family. You're only concerned about the effect that it has on you. So collective consensus is the need of the hour for Pisces folks. Also check your Dasha and Bhukti. If things are looking really bad, then you're really likely to have a very difficult transit. Off to some good things now. Mars, being the ninth lord, will bring a dharmic disposition and possibly a religious congregation within the family. Visiting holy places or religious trips to faraway locations are also on the cards. You're most likely going to speed up all the pending trips in your wish list. Mars will also give you a good command over the language that you're now communicating with, which means people are willing to take your commands and advice. Mars may now give you positive food habits, being the second and ninth lord, like cutting down on red meat or alcohol, or any habit that you want to kick right now, or any good habit that you want to start right now will get a boost. Mars's fourth aspect on the fifth house would now give a push towards contemplating on possibly childbirth for married people, and seventh aspect on the seventh house would put you in a position to take sudden ups and downs in a positive manner and deal with them sportively. Mars's aspect on the ninth shows your area of responsibility getting triggered with regards to your father. If you have an ailing father, then this is the time where you need to pay attention to him and take good care of him. And that's all I've got for Pisces folks. If you're new to my channel, please subscribe below. And if you need a paid consultation, send us an email. Please share this video with your friends and family. And I will see you guys again with another new video very soon.